Hi, I'm Dan from Foundations Zambia, and today we're going to talk about the first principle of regenerative farming, which is minimum tillage, or in other words, not inverting the soil. Now we all sort of know, or we think, that soil inversion and ploughing is just essential to farming. And often we cite reasons like ploughing makes the soil soft, or ploughing aerates the soil, or tilling will help the roots to grow, or even ploughing will kill the weeds. Another reason that we feel we must plough is because we think it aerates the soil. But just as I said, that without that structure, without those roots, those tunnels, and those fungal strands, any benefit of aeration is very short-lived. Now there's some inconvenient truth to those statements. One is, ploughing may make the soil softer in the very short term, because of course when we turn over the soil we see it's nice, it's fluffy. We look at that and we say, yeah, that's good soil. But all it takes is one rain, and that rain comes and quickly compacts the soil because there's nothing holding it up. It's just a bit of air in there. So the rain comes, compacts it, and then the sun, very, very likely the sun will come out. And what does the sun do? It bakes it dry. Isn't that a little bit the way we make bricks? It's a bit scary, isn't it? But actually, if we look inside soil, if we go into the bush maybe, and we look underground, we don't just see dirt. Soil is not dirt. Oh no. It's alive. It's alive, and there are things, there's actually living things providing structure in that soil. There's the roots of crops that have been grown there in previous years. There's little tunnels made by worms, made by beetles. And these are things that we can't always see. There's fungus. Now we don't always like to think about fungus as a good thing. If we see fungus on our bread, we throw it out. But fungus in the soil is amazing. These are these tiny white strands. You can't really see them unless there's many of them bundled up together. And these white strands, they hold soil particles together. They wrap themselves around soil particles. And they do more than that. They actually take nutrients from one part of your field to another part of your field based on what's needed. So all these things are amazing. All these things show the wisdom and the brilliance of God and how He made creation. And yet when we plow, we come in and we turn it all up. We destroy all of that, thinking that we're so clever. And it works in the short term, but in the long term, we're destroying our soil. So, in short, minimum tillage, or not plowing, not inverting our soil, is one way to bring regeneration, bring life back to our soils. We've talked about how minimizing tillage in our fields and in our gardens will bring back life into our soil and will honor and respect that wonderful structure that God has made in our soil. I want to show you now using a very simple demonstration. Here I have an example of a clod of soil from a field that's been plowed and left to dry. And if you look at it, it looks quite hard. You might even say that it's strong. If you try to squeeze it or change its shape, you might find that no, it doesn't change, it doesn't give way under my finger, so it must be strong. We can see that immediately when I put the clod into this jar of water, it starts to disintegrate. It falls apart, it turns basically to mud. There's nothing holding it together. This clod that looked so strong when it was dry has completely given way to whether it's rain or irrigation. And it's almost completely disintegrated now, just a pile of mud at the bottom, devoid of life. But here I have a clod of soil taken from the bush just behind me. And immediately you see it's not the same. It's got little roots sticking out of it. It's got little tunnels made from the beetles. It's actually darker in color. This of course is because it's had years and years and years of decomposing mulch to benefit it. It also, if you're honest, we might say it looks a bit soft. It looks like maybe it can't hold up to pressure, or it can't hold up to rain. So let's see what happens when it encounters a whole lot of water. Now you can see that with this entire clod submerged in water, it is hardly changing a bit. There's almost nothing coming off of it. This is amazing. And even when I drop it down, it stays intact, beautifully intact because of that structure. So what's really happening? This clod that looks so soft that we could just smash with our little finger is actually holding together because of those roots and of that fungus and the many ways that God has put structure into this beautiful soil. You'll also notice that there's little bubbles rising from this clod. This of course is because there's air inside it, trapped air from all those little tunnels and passages. So I hope we can see that when we plow soil, we actually collapse it and we actually squeeze the life out of it. But when we leave soil as God intended to be colonized by these wonderful fungus and beetles and worms and many other things, it can hold up to water, it can be full of air, and it can benefit our crops and our vegetables. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and learned one way that you can bring life back to your soils. Feel free to leave a comment below or visit us at our website, foundationszambia.org.